Uh-oh. Oh, gosh. It's lost connection to my Facebook. Hold on. Seriously, StreamYard. Come on. Here we go. There we go. Sorry about that, people at home. Had a connection issue there. Good morning. Welcome to our monthly Lunch and Learn. I am Sandra from Maryland Crime Victims Resource Center. The purpose of these Lunch and Learns are to bring awareness to different awareness months, legislation, laws, rights, all the good things that you may not know until you need to know it. So, you know, like G.I. Joe says, knowing is half the battle. So there you go. With us this month, we're going to be talking about National Road Victim Month. And with us today is Joanna Mupanduki, Andy McCarty, Brenna. Is it Brenna?
It's Bryna.
Bryna Clark Braverman and Isabel Reinhart. We're going to be jumping into National Road Victim Month, things you can do, resources that are available, and all that stuff. National Road Victim Month honors people that are lost or injured on our roads. And it's a great opportunity to raise awareness, to make our roads safer, and to share about resources that are available to those who are affected. So really quick before we hop into the programs, do like a quick introduction, and we'll just start with Joanna and then move on.
All right. Hello, I'm Joanna. I'm an attorney. I'm the Deputy Director of NCVRC. I've been an attorney since 2007. Spent a lot of that time as a prosecutor, including prosecuting a lot of vehicular crimes, usually DUIs with injuries, and then going up to vehicular homicide. And so that's how I am familiar with the dangers of driving. Oh, and I drive on the public roads every day. So I see the need for talking about road safety all the time. So thank you, everyone, for being here with us.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm Andy McCarty from Impact Teen Drivers. We're a nonprofit that focuses on the dangers of reckless and distracted driving among young people, young drivers. I retired from Baltimore City Police Department last year, did 24 years with them. I'm also a father of 3 young drivers, so I'm also not just from law enforcement perspective, but from a father's perspective, traffic safety is really important to me.
Thanks so much, Andy, and thank you for your service.
Brenna?
Hi, my name is Bryna Clark Braverman, and I'm the Regional Executive Director for Mothers Against Drunk Driving in the Mid-Atlantic region. We oversee Maryland, Virginia, Delaware, and DC.
Hi.
Thanks, Brenna.
Hi, my name is Isabel Reinhart. I'm the Victim Service Specialist for Mothers Against Drunk Driving in the Mid-Atlantic region, as Brian has said. I'm located in Virginia, and our Manager of Victim Services, Joanne Sharp, is located in Maryland.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I just wanted to hop right in. I mean, Andy started it off, so we can just hop into what Impact Teen Drivers does. And I know, Andy, you've got a bunch of stuff to share with us. And I also have an 18-year-old, and I have a 16-year-old that's coming up. So I'm sure I'll have a lot to add to and questions.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, yeah. So we go and do a presentation. We do high schools, we even do middle schools, and even elementary schools yet. Even though they're not driving yet, we talk about being good passengers also in the car and being alert, and how everyone is responsible for the safety inside that vehicle. So we hit all the distractions. We do, of course, cell phones, how dangerous that is, cell phones use. And our forms of distractions are anytime your eyes are off the road, your hand is off a steering wheel, your mind isn't on driving, and your ears aren't alert to what's around you. So we try covering, of course, the cell phone, which, of course, your eyes are off the road because you're looking at your phone. Your mind isn't on driving. It's about whatever your text is or whatever you're looking up on your phone. And, of course, your hand is off the steering wheel because it's on the phone. But we also do a lot of distractions that a lot of young people don't always think of as distractions, like eating and drinking something. If you have a cup and you're sitting there tipping it back in your you're not paying attention to driving. Eating something. We have, if you're doing your hair, your makeup, you're looking in your mirror, and having, of course, other friends in the car or people in the car that are talking to you or distracting you or trying to show you something on their phone. So we try covering all those distractions that not everyone always knows about. We do it in a way that there's no blood and gore or scare tactics, anything like that. We just give them statistics and solutions that they can do to solve these problems, because these crashes are 100% preventable. They can be stopped. You just have to make good choices. And we try making everyone lean to how you make good choices. And you have to make good choices every time you're behind the wheel of a car, not just some of the times. We have a couple family members or families that were affected by distracted and reckless driving, and they give their stories in our presentation. So, and they give their story so another family doesn't have to go through the same thing, or a school has to go through the same thing that they went through. Some of the program that we do, we also do, we really harp, I don't know if you probably can see it, but we have graduated driver licensing laws for Maryland. And not all the parents all the time always know about all the GDL laws. We really give them how important it is to follow. It works in the United States. Every state has a form of it. They're all a little different. But a lot of the kids do know about GDL, but we just want to make sure that they follow all the laws, not just some of them. Get that practice in, because you're new drivers, you're inexperienced. And this is a perfect time to learn that. So how important it is to drive at night sometimes, to get those hours in when you have a licensed driver with you. You know, how it's important not to have friends in the car when you're not supposed to, with the license that you have, and how those are distractions. And
which is so interesting, because, and I'm going to pop right into here.
Yep, absolutely.
So saying that I had like the teenagers as well is one thing that was really frustrating for me. I'm gonna voice this into the world, and maybe it'll change. Is that there's only virtual, like the driver's ed classes,
Right.
and so my kids are not great virtual learners, and I feel like, you know, COVID has really shown us who we are as learners and workers, right? Like either you're great at virtual and it's fantastic and it fits and you can make it work, or you're lousy, like, you know. And so I searched and searched. I was like, even if I have to drive a little bit further, like being in a classroom, being in front of an instructor. So here's my kid learning, you know, virtually.
Right.
A lot different than, you know, the pain that I went through, you know, every day for whatever it was, like an hour. And even the books that are that they give out at the MVA to learn, like, isn't as comprehensive as it used to be. We used to have this big fat book, and now it's like, I don't know, it's the smallest thing. Joanna, I'm going to bring it in when I come into the office one day so you can see it. It's tiny, and it doesn't even have some of the basic things. Like, I looked through it and I was like, no wonder, you know. So there's a lot lacking there. So as a parent, you know, we've got to step up and make sure that we are kind of covering some of those holes. But that has been super frustrating. And I also love that you talked about the cup, because I feel like we always have like these cups that have like, these are like all the thing with the straw.
Right.
So at least you're not you know, like you
Right.
said,
Right.
back the cup and try to look around it while you're driving. So I feel like there's some little things that we can just do to make sure that we're, you know, doing the best that we can all the time.
Right, exactly. We tried make the right choices behind the wheel of a car, and even as a passenger, you're also responsible. And don't be afraid to use your voice and speak up if you feel like you're in an unsafe car ride. If the person's speeding, if the person's looking at their phone, if they're not doing something that you like, you have to use your voice and speak up. So we tried, even as a passenger, if you're not driving, and a lot of the death stats that we have are. Out of the 3,000 teens that have lost their lives to car crashes, 50% of them weren't even driving. They were passengers in the car. So it shows you how important it is to be a good passenger in the car. And 50% of those weren't wearing seatbelts and would probably be alive if they were wearing their seatbelts. So we tried hitting the seatbelt importance of that, and you know, speeding and anything that involves reckless driving, along with the distractions.
So the programs that you have, who do you usually present those to? You said just school. Is it just schools, or?
I'll go anywhere. I've done libraries, you know, scout groups. I've done schools. Yeah, I'll go anywhere to do them. So for the high schools, we go in there. It's about 55 minutes program. It's a PowerPoint. We hand out some material. We have the wheels of distraction, so they get to spin them around, and you can see what, in the percentage box, if you do these things behind the wheel of a car, how much it increases your chance of being in a car crash alone by just doing those things. So how many passengers you have in the car, things you're doing. So if you're using the phone, the red side is nighttime driving, which is more dangerous. And we explain why nighttime driving is more dangerous. And then the yellow is daytime driving. So they kind of have fun playing with that and getting that together. We do a middle school program where we are preparing them to be good drivers, even though, of course, they don't have a license yet, about being good passengers and recognizing what an unsafe car ride looks like compared to a safe car ride. And, of course, being good passengers and using your voice. The elementary one we've done a few times, and that's really fun. It's more interactive. They have like a lot of games we play with them. We do it like a good car ride, bad car ride, where the kids volunteer and act like they're driving the car. And one will be, are we there yet? Or kicking the back of the seat, or, changing the radio, or one's looking back. They're making funny faces to distract the driver. And then the next one we do one where they all put their seatbelts on, or a car seat, and it's quiet and somebody spoke up and said, no, you need to keep the radio down. So we try showing those early on, getting those good habits early on, even though, of course, you're not driving yet, to be recognized what an unsafe car ride looks like.
Thanks so much for that, Andy. And I think that as before we went live, I was talking about how, all these rules have changed, for us that are older. And so breaking our own habits, like it's really not even just kids, like, when we're talking about it, like it's not just the teens, it's us as adults as well, because, like I said, when cell phones first came out, we're just all on our cell phones, where the teens, it's never been legal in their lifetime to be on their phone, since in their driving history, especially if they're new, like it's always been illegal. Like if they're on their phone, they've been breaking the law from the get-go, but like we were not breaking the law. And then all of a sudden we were. So I remember one time I was, my husband's also a police officer, but one time I was on my phone and I had it on speaker because I think my earpiece wasn't working or something. And so I kind of had it and I was driving and it was in my hand. Right. It wasn't on my ear. And a police officer was next to me, was whoop, whoop. You know how they do the little
yeah.
And I was like, oh. And I was like, but I'm not. And he's like, but it's not hands free. It's still in your hand. And I'm like, oh. And so clearly, like, I put it down. And it really wasn't like, I was trying to be conscientious. Like it wasn't on my ear, but also you just don't know. Like you just don't know. So,
yeah, exactly. We have another program it's Under Your Influence, where the parents are with the teens in the program, and we teach about how parents, you are an example. They do look at you and what you do.
What I was getting to.
And so if you're saying one thing and you're doing the other, then it's not
you shouldn't use your phone. Hold on, let me text my mom. Hold on.
Right. But like you said, at the time when you first started, they didn't know any other difference. But I always give the example of like seatbelt use, like way back. Not everyone wore their seatbelt. It was, I don't know what the compliance rate was, pretty down. I think now the state of Maryland is like 95, 93% So it shows you that the education and the, enforcement of it combined together has really made people like, I got to put my seatbelt on. This is what you're supposed to do when you get in the car. And you have to do the same thing kind of now with technology and cell phones and all these other distractions that, no, I shouldn't be making these choices behind the wheel of a car when I'm driving.
Yeah, we might need like impact mature drivers session as well.
Right, that too. Exactly.
So definitely, I mean, I feel like, a lot of people can learn from that, and just really, I think knowing the statistics makes us more aware, like, oh yeah, I need to be better about that. But I think that I became better because I knew that my kids were watching. Like I knew that they were watching. But
a lot of parents did tell us that like, hey, what, now that when they're watching, then I know in my mind to put it down, put it away. And we give them the same, like, some people will be like, oh, I'm just putting it on my passenger seat. It's away from me. So, but all of a sudden you get a ding or a ping and you hear a text, there's a text message. You're going to be tempted to look over, grab it for 2 seconds. And then, you want to know who's calling you, who's texting you. And so we talk about putting on do not disturb, turning it off completely, putting it in the center console, put it in the glove box, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, like, although I would love for my kids to be in these brand new cars that have like the CarPlay where it's right there and you can kind of, the plus side is that we do have these smartphones. And so although, we can't all be in the brand new cars with all the bells and whistles.
Exactly.
Siri and Google and all those things, they will send that text for you. They will read it for you. They will do all those things. So just, it's almost like, better usage of the technology that you have.
Right.
and then just really being very self-aware as to how
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
but yeah, no, great information. Are there any other programs that you would like to share with us?
I think that's about it. We have a coaches program also that we're starting, where we work with coaches because, students are leaving to and from practices late or games late. And, sometimes you pile a lot of students in one car when one student's driving them home. So we try to give them some good uses there. We have depending on what sport they're in, basketball, football, softball, baseball, whatever.
Smart.
So it's kind of a new program that we're doing. It's pretty fun. But yeah, the elementary is fun. Like we do, we read books. We have the Distractopus that, so we read the kids' books and the octopus is trying to do all these things behind the wheel of a car at once, and kind of shows them how multitasking is bad when you're doing the behind the wheel of a car and trying to do all these things at once. So
That poor octopus, he always gets the bad rap for doing.
Always gets a bad rap. I know I have so many arms.
But no, that's a great idea. The sports I think is huge because some kids drive and some kids don't, and so they're catching rides with friends instead of their parents
Right.
picking them up. And I know that there was this one fatal accident down here where I am, and it was kids that were crossing a major highway. And it was 4 kids in the car, and it was right before graduation.
Mhm.
It was a few years ago, and it was just awful. The community heard about it, and we're like, oh my gosh,
Right.
but all that distraction, all those kids are together. So that makes a lot of sense. So do you do all of Maryland? What is your...
I do all of Maryland. Yeah, I'll go anywhere in Maryland. But yeah, I'll do the program's about 50, 55 minutes. I have a shorter program. It's a half hour. If you have shorter time, there's only one video in that one. There's 2 videos, and the videos you can kind of pick and choose with if it's a rural play, urban, whatever. We have the different kinds of distractions that are used. There's one story where the person was drowsy driving, was sleepy, and made the choice to get behind the wheel of a car when he was very tired. We have other ones where kids piled into a car, students did, and they only had 4 seatbelts, but there were 6 kids in the car. So we have street racing. One of them was a street racing story. So you can kind of pick and choose with whatever you want to do with the area that you're working in. If it's rural roads, rural highways, or highways in the city. So we try kind of putting a little bit of everything in there.
That's great. Thanks so much
You're
for
welcome.
that information. If anyone is watching at home and needs Andy to come visit and remind our kids, we want to keep them as safe as possible. And heaven forbid they're responsible for other humans in their car. Such a scary thing. Like I said, I'm going through that. So I completely feel all that. Thanks, Andy, for
You're very
that.
welcome. Thank you.
Do you guys want to interject anything on that before we move into MAD?
I just wanted to ask real quick, Andy, is Impact Teen Drivers, is that a nationwide program?
It is. It's not in all the states. It was actually started in California. That's where our main place
Okay.
is, and that was started by the California Highway Patrol, and the California Teachers Association was there, and they did a stress study with the highway patrol officers and wanted to know what one of the stressful things was, and the predominantly stressful event was them rolling up on a scene of a car crash with a fatality of a young person, and then have to subsequently go and do notifies to the family, friends. So that's why they kind of tackled it. And that's how we were created.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So if you're watching this and you're not in Maryland, you won't get Andy. You'll get someone else.
That's right.
All right. Bryna and Isabel, you're up.
All right.
You're mad? And
Thank you so much for having us today. It's an absolute pleasure to be here and talk about what MAD Mid-Atlantic does for our region. Specifically in the state of Maryland, we work with victims of impaired driving crashes. And on top of that, we also have a underage drinking prevention program. We also have a Power of Parents program. And those 2 programs are designed to help youth drivers talk to each other about the dangers of impaired driving. And our Power of Parents program is designed to help parents have these tough conversations with their children about the dangers of impaired driving and what to do if you find yourself in a difficult situation. Who do you contact? Who do you call? Develop a plan. Also, we have a program called our Victim Impact Panels. And what our Victim Impact Panels are for DUI offenders to come and they listen to a panel of 2 to 3 victims of impaired driving. And it's about an hour-long presentation. Most of those are court ordered by district and traffic and circuit courts. And then some of them are not court ordered. Those programs are to teach the dangers and how to never find yourself in that situation again. Our victims share all kinds of backgrounds, journeys, and stories about why they're there. And they really focus on the emotional, mental, and physical impact a drunk driving or drug driving crash caused them and their family. We have victims who share about a death of a family member. We have victims who share about a life-threatening injury that they now are dealing with. We also do have a person who shares property damage on how their house was destroyed by a DUI driver. So we really hit on all different realms of backgrounds and stories and journeys with our DUI victims. Another program that Maryland does and is very proud of is our Law Enforcement Recognition Awards. We have them once a year, and it's a statewide award ceremony for the best DUI state police, troopers, sheriffs, and officers in the state. And we have a very lovely luncheon where we have guest speakers and the officers win awards at this luncheon. We have that also in Virginia and Delaware as well. All of our programs are throughout the region and also throughout the country. And our biggest, and we say it's our most well-kept secret, but we try to get it out there as much as possible because MAD is a victim-first organization and nonprofit. And so I'm so happy to introduce Isabel Reinhart, where she is going to talk in depth about our victim services that MAD has and how, if anybody out there listening is a victim of impaired driving, whether that crash was yesterday or 20 years ago, we are here for you. And whatever we can do to help you, we will. And that's where Isabel comes in.
Well, thank you, Bryna, and thank you everyone for allowing me to have this opportunity to share a little bit about MAD and our victim services that are offered. So just like Bryna said, if the crash happened a couple of days ago or a couple of years ago or 10 years ago, we're here to offer our supportive services to victims and survivors. So these services include many things. And I think that it's really important when we have our first initial conversation with the victim or survivor to kind of make our individualized care plan based on the services that we offer. So this can include emotional support, guiding victims through the criminal and civil justice system, if needed, and accompanying them to court, helping them with their victim impact statement if they do have a criminal trial, and referring victims and survivors to appropriate resources for additional help. So this is really when those community partners come in. And myself and Joanne host a monthly virtual Mid-Atlantic region support group. So that's a time for victims and survivors to come together and support one another. We usually have a topic for the month, and that just allows them to, lean on one another and share in their similarities. And so with that, we also connect victim survivor volunteers to victims if they would like, and providing supportive resources on the various victimization topics like Bryna discussed. We have property damage, injury, bereavement, and so we have various resources for each type of victimization. And we also have a 24-hour victim helpline that's available through the weekend, through all the holidays. So, I am the victim service specialist for the Mid-Atlantic region, but if I, am off because it's a holiday or a weekend, then that way they're still getting that supportive service. And then I'll hear about it, the next day in office, be able to reach out. So And I like that Andy had mentioned that with distracted driving, that's 100% preventable. Same with impaired driving. That's something that we discuss often here at MAD, that it's a choice and it's a 100% preventable choice that is made. You know, we're here in 2024, there's rideshare apps, there's friends. You can make the decision not to drink and drive, or not to do drugs and drive. So yeah, thank you for having us. Let's see. We also have our walk. We have a Walk Like Mad event that's in September, actually, in Maryland, September 21st. It's in Millersville, Maryland. So I'll also put a link to that in the chat for everybody if they would like to join us. We would love to have you there. And another thing that we do is we encourage victims and survivors to volunteer with us whenever they feel that it would be beneficial to their healing journey. And if it's
Are you reading my mind? Because I swear I just wrote those two things down.
That's yeah, so that's something that we offer, so that if it's beneficial to their healing journey, and again, it's 100% okay if it's not. And so really we just put the power back to the victims and survivors to make the decision, because at one point they didn't have the choice to be impacted by impaired driving. So if they do choose to volunteer, there's many other things that come with that. But one of those things is to share their story. So they can share their story in our legislative efforts, to law enforcement, with the sobriety checkpoints, military bases, schools with the Power of Youth program, and peers that have also been impacted by impaired driving. So really, we just want to give victims and survivors their power back and give them back their choice. So thank you for allowing us to come and share a little bit about MAD and our supportive services.
Thanks, Isabel. And I guess the one question that I have is, are you guys directly related to SAD, and how does that, is SAD still around?
Yes, so SAD is still around, but we are two very different organizations, and we will work on things together. But they are one organization and MAD is another. But we do a lot of things in conjunction with each other.
Okay.
Especially with our Power of Youth program, or underage drinking programs in high schools.
That's how
And
I
can you
first
remind us what
I was
SAD
in
stands
SAD when
for?
I was in high school.
Students Against Destructive Driving.
I remember that in high school. That was a long time ago. Okay, that was perfect. I totally wrote down volunteer and events, and I was going to tack that on to the end. But since you already did yours, Andy, did you have volunteer opportunities and events that are?
I'm trying to think what we have coming up. Nothing that I'm coming up against.
I'll come back to you. Wait, you look into that. I'm going to let
I'll
you.
look in. I'll find some for you. How about that?
And then we can drop those in the comment if you guys want to share your walk link and volunteer opportunities in the comments to share with people on Facebook and on YouTube. Pop into Joanna. It's the Joanna Show. All right, Joanna, here we go. So many things, so much good information. And of course, we want to tie it to our mission, which is, helping victims of crime. And clearly we can associate this with ours. So I'm going to let Joanna talk about that.
Yes, I just wanted to talk a little bit first about the types of crimes that we would assist people with. So if people are a victim of a crime, so there can be manslaughter by vehicle, and all of these are also by vessel. So if the same thing happens on a boat in the water, a person can also be charged under these laws. So when I say by motor vehicle, they always have the exception also or vessel. So it includes boats and boating accidents. So there's manslaughter by vehicle or vessel. And so that is anybody who's operating a motor vehicle in a grossly negligent manner. So those would be kind of the very reckless, someone's, going 120 down the road and runs into someone. And I've seen, on purpose and sometimes accidentally, and that can definitely be wanton or reckless disregard for human life, which makes it grossly negligent driving. There's also homicide by motor vehicle and vessel while impaired, and it can be impaired by alcohol, impaired by drugs, impaired by a combination of alcohol and drugs, or being under the influence of either alcohol, drugs, and so all of that is included. That also can be charged when someone is driving a vessel. There are also criminal charges if there's life-threatening injury caused by someone operating a motor vehicle or a vessel while under the influence of alcohol or while impaired by alcohol and or drugs. So all of those are crimes in the state of Maryland. The homicide by motor vehicle and the manslaughter by vehicle are felonies, and then the life-threatening injuries as well. So there's different, charges and what those maximum crimes can be. But anyway, I think just gives you an idea. And then there's, just a regular DUI that caused an accident with more minor injuries, that type of thing. So all of those are crimes. So at Maryland Crime Victims Resource Center, we do represent victims of crime. So if you are the victim, charges have been filed, you can call us. We'll help you before charges are filed as well. And we actually represent people in court to make sure you know what's going on and you get a voice. We also assist with victim impact statements, all those types of things. And another new program that we have is we do offer mental health counseling now for victims of crime. So, if you've been traumatized by these events and stuff, we have that program. It's our contractor is Safe Harbor Behavioral Care. They're pretty much cover most of the state of Maryland, and they have virtual services as well. So if you don't live as close to a major place, that can be we can also cover that. So all victims in the state of Maryland can get some help. So we have that availability. Let's see, other things we can do. Typically in an accident, you're going to be covered by insurance. It should be the driver who caused it insurance. If they are not insured, then it would be your insurance. But if there are additional costs left over after everything's been covered by insurance, there's also the possibility of going to CICB, which is the Criminal Injury Compensation Board. And so we can assist with filing for claims there. And you only get covered if you are if you've had physical injury, but we can assist with that as well. So there's a number of different things. So we're going to put some contact information in the chat box because I think we have some people inquiring about the mental health counseling. So we'll do that. Basically, in a snapshot, those are the types of crimes that we see coming from driving issues. Which can be both the reckless driving type and driving while intoxicated or impaired by drugs or alcohol. So back to you, Sandra.
Thanks so much, Joanna. I was trying to respond to Terry there. So yeah, that's a lot. And I mean, it definitely sounds like it all ties in. Thanks for bringing up the mental health. I mean, clearly, we never know where our trauma comes from. And this can absolutely be one of them. I mean, and it doesn't have to be, death. I mean, sometimes it's just being in an accident. I was in a serious accident a few years ago, and I'm still really skittish about like being a passenger, kind of not being in control. And so, you just never really know. And if it's the fault of someone else that is, in a criminal aspect, I mean, I can only imagine that compounding that trauma. So thanks for sharing that. I'm going to circle back to events. Andy, I'm going to come back to you.
Yes, I got some. So
you do? Okay, go ahead.
September 6th is the OWE Fest, and it's at Security Square Mall. I'll be there with a table event, so I'll be giving out free material. October 19th is the Baltimore County Police Young Driver Safety Program, and that's at Carver Center School at 938 York Road, and that's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And that's a real good event.
Sounds like it. Sounds like
And the rest of them will be at high schools or schools, but
okay. Perfect. Thanks for looking that stuff up so people can find you and look at your wheel.
yeah, that's right. Your wheel.
Look at your wheel.
We got shirts, you name it, we got it.
Yeah. And for those of you at home that are part of our community, you have probably received our newsletter. Our newsletter goes out at the end of every month. We don't send a whole bunch of junk mail. We try not to. But our newsletter has our ceremony of remembrance, which is, for those that don't know, it's our annual ceremony where we kind of come together for people who have lost someone due to crime. We have a garden of remembrance at the Prince George's County Courthouse. And we do a little ceremony that has like prayers, a song, a poem, that kind of community feeling. Is on September 21st. You should have an email. It should be in your newsletter, and you'll see posts on our social media as well. That's September 21st. Starts in the morning, and then following a reception afterwards. And then our Victims' Rights Gala is on October 5th. I'm sure people that are on our social media have seen that. It's on October 5th. It's in Annapolis. The early bird tickets just became available, but I'm going to drop a link in the comments box here. For those of you that are interested in either of those events, please feel free to click on that link and get more information, RSVP, get a ticket, whatever it is that you would like to do. And of course, today's National Night Out. So I'm sure, lots of things going on this evening. I'm sure there's plenty of community. I know there's plenty of communities out there. This is when all the nonprofits kind of rally to kind of be seen somewhere just to share what they do, because there's so many great causes. So just, catch a National Night Out. I'm sure you'll find someone, if not these resources. I'm sure that everyone is going to be somewhere tonight poking around. I know I'm going to probably go into my community. Joanna, are you tabling tonight? You are too? Okay. I think, Joanna, you're in La Plata somewhere, right?
Well, it looks like now I'm in Mechanicsville. So.
Oh, now you're in McKenna. Okay. All right. We've got like somebody at Bowie, somebody in, National Night Out is a big one. So for those of you at home, if you're looking for other resources, please feel free. And if you need for one of us to come out, please. I mean, I think that most nonprofits are really willing to kind of share their information as needed. I mean, even if it's one person to come out to talk to 10 people, that's 10 more people than we had before. And so we usually, as a whole, try to make that work. So we're running a little early today. Was there anything that you guys wanted to add before we, I guess we can end early. You can have 22 minutes left of your day. Anything? Did you forget anything?
Oh, I just wanted to mention really quick, I was unable to put our links in the comments section.
Oh,
if you don't mind.
Yeah. Is it in this private? Okay, here it goes. Okay, I got it.
You.
Copy this.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, you guys. Okay, hold on. Here's Andy's. Okay, I got it. Let me see if I can. Here's Andy's from Andy.
Oh, thanks. My technology skills are pretty bad. So.
That's okay. I'm here. I'm trying.
I'm here.
So I didn't see the little red bubble on my screen. So Andy's is here. It's Impact Teen Drivers event on the 6th, OWE Fest at Security Mall. That's the Baltimore side. And then October 19th is the Baltimore County Police Young Drivers Safety Program. So that sounds fantastic. Let me grab Mad's stuff from Isabel. Let me go over here. Sorry, just got to copy and paste here. Oh, I hope this, let me see. All right, there it is. Okay. And then there, did it not make it live? Let me see if I can do that again. I try to give you guys a live link because live links are fantastic. Sorry, people at home. Let me see if I can make this work. No, I don't know why it's doing that. All
I
right.
just put in a better live link to use for the Walk Like Mad, Maryland, in
Yeah,
the
it's not
presentation.
letting me. It's not. Hold on. I think I have to. Let me see if I can figure this out. Hold on. This is your girl is not really a technology person, but she's trying really hard. Hold
You're
on.
doing fantastic.
It won't make the link like blue so people can click on it. I wonder if it's. Hold on 1 second. Let me. I don't. Yeah, I don't know why it's not.
I think it's blue on the
Is it?
in YouTube.
Oh, okay. All right, then I didn't do it too terribly bad. All right, let me remove those things. Sorry, trying to clean this up. Okay. Okay. Here's the better link. She said, "Here's the better link." Hold on. You can tell which screen I'm looking at here. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. I got it. All right, here's the better link for the walk for those who are at home. Here you go. This is the Maryland specific one because when I open it, it says Walk Like Mad, Maryland. So that's your Maryland link. I guess if you are outside of Maryland and you're grabbing this somewhere else, you can use the other link that is the generic Mad link, right? Okay, I think that's it. Oh, and then here's the hotline. This is good stuff. Okay. So if you're affected and would like to join their hotline, here's their victim support hotline. And then when you guys do the, you said you did victim impact statements, you do court accompaniment. Is that with a legal person or is that just with a victim advocate?
With the victim advocate and with the victim, we just attend. Yeah.
Okay. And then the support group. So I just wanted to, we also help with victim impact statements, but the accompaniment, like we can do, Joanna, tell me, it's, we have advocates as well. So if you guys ever need someone, we can do accompaniment, but we also have attorneys that can enter.
Will represent, victims.
Do lawyerly things.
Yeah.
Right. So definitely, if you guys need us, please let us know. All right. I think that's it. What else? That it? Okay. Thank you guys so much at home for joining us today. I know I'm a little bit of a disheveled mess when it comes to these links, but I appreciate your patience. I hope that this has been informative, and you never know who you're helping when you share these videos. Even like they said, for people that have been affected previously, last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and they still are kind of working through that trauma. MAD still has resources that are available for you. There are still support groups. There's still a way for you to make an impact on a community that is going through the same thing that you are. And all of these things are really about empowering our community, kind of make better choices and move in a positive direction. If you need Andy to come out, he's got great stuff. It's like the pre, right? It's making sure that all of these things don't happen. Right. We're all working together to make sure that we are positively impacting people on the roads and then the aftermath of those that are not making great decisions, which is absolutely unfortunate. But unfortunately, the resources have to be available to them so that they're not walking the path alone after tragedy strikes. So thank you guys so much for being here. Any closing words from you guys?
Yeah. Thank you so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right.
I just want to say thank you, Andy, Bryna, and Isabella for joining us. It's very helpful. We really appreciate sharing what you guys do and your knowledge with us as well. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. And you get 16 minutes of your day back.
All right.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Yeah.